to see so many of you joining us here this evening. We want to welcome you to our parent empowerment session. And so, on behalf of the I'm a Star Foundation, as well as the Duval County Public Schools, we'd like to once again welcome you this evening and thank you for sharing with us as we provide you with some information that we hope will help you to better empower your children, especially during this season of coronavirus crisis. We're going to get started this evening with a very powerful video. Our focus this evening is on families as well as students, and I'll get an opportunity just a little later on to personally present some of our staff members, our principals, and our staff members to you on a personal basis. We're just elated to have them with us this evening. So once again, we welcome you, thrilled to have you, and we're going to get started as Ms. Betty Burney, who is the CEO, Executive Director, and CEO of the I'm a Star Foundation, as well as, of course, the founder. She is going to present this very powerful video for this evening. Her reputation precedes her. She is one in Jacksonville who is well known for certainly inspiring many of our youth in the city of Jacksonville. And of course, as she founded the I'm a Star Foundation with the idea in mind that all of our students, focusing on yours tonight, are stars.
Oh no.
So at this time, she is going to present to you, she's going to open our program by presenting to you our video for this evening, focusing on families, entitled Family Makeover. So, Ms. Burney.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Norman, and I'm so happy to see all of you. I do want to, if it's okay with you, Ms. Norman, I would like to have Ms. McKinney to go ahead and bring her greetings.
Okay.
We're so happy to see her, and she has Ms. Cox and Ms. Sabrina Pinckney. But Ms. McKinney, please, it's all yours.
Okay. Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Ms. Burney, for again hosting such a marvelous event and presenting to our families. We really appreciate the time and us working collaboratively. So I just want to say thank you to everyone that's on the call this evening. Thank you for being here, Ms. Pinckney, Ms. Cox. Thank you also for being a part of this call. And we can't wait to just continue the work that we've been doing in spite of the challenges that are before us. We're still pressing on. So thanks again to everyone. And I'll hand it back over to you, Ms. Burney.
Okay, thank you so much. And I know that Mrs. Norman will have the others to speak at a later time, but we're going to go ahead and get started. So I'm going to share my screen for a minute. How many of you are just sick and tired of 2020? The COVID pandemic, the online learning, businesses closed, quarantine. It's been a lot. But guess what? There's something that literally is about to happen. Can everyone see the screen? It is almost time for New Year. And what is your family's New Year's resolution? Well, in a few short weeks, it is going to be 2021. It's on its way. And one of the things that most people do when a new year rolls around is to make a New Year's resolution. You know what we say? I'm going to lose weight this year. I'm going to exercise more. I'm going to stop drinking Pepsis. That's mine every year, and I never get a chance to do it. I'm going to stop shopping so much. Y'all know what we do. We want to throw something out. I want to throw something out at you guys. Instead of just doing a personal resolution for New Year's, how about a family New Year's resolution. After a year like 2020, I want to show you and share with you how your family can get a fresh start for 2021. So let's talk about a family makeover. Now, I want you to understand when we talk about family makeover, this is a makeover.
Charles. Look at this guy.
What do y'all think? Y'all want to give your daddy a hug?
Oh, come on.
guys, so
That's
tell
amazing.
us-
Oh, Lord.
You like it?
I like it. Yeah.
Zachary is such a good father. He works so hard for our family and he's pampering me, so I just wanted to give him an opportunity to be pampered.
All right, Zach, come on out. Buddy.
You want to see your show? Go for it.
Whoa.
Oh,
man.
Yeah. Oh, you're
Wow,
doing
pants that
awesome. You ready, Daddy?
Oh my goodness. Is this the same Lottie Louise? Look at you.
Patty LaBelle, step back, baby.
Wow.
Look at the before and after. Oh,
Beautiful. You look beautiful. By the way, you look beautiful both ways.
Yes.
It's a cool look. I love it.
Now, no, I am not really talking about those kinds of makeovers. I'm talking about a family makeover, one that can help your family go from good to great, one that can help your family function better, one that can help your children take accountability, and where everyone in the family owns up to their responsibilities, where a family can change behaviors that they don't like and start fresh. That's the makeover that I'm talking about. A family makeover is easy. In a few minutes, I will give you an example, and then during the holidays, I challenge every parent on this Zoom to try it. So let's get started. The first step one, is that you have to gather the family together because it's going to be a family project. But when you gather your family together, you got to put your devices down. Everybody's going to have to give their undivided attention because the family is about to do something different. So you want to make sure that there are no distractions, and then you can begin. So now, before the beautician attempted to do this makeover, it was essential for her to evaluate the strengths and weaknesses of her subject. For example, this guy had a nice hair color and, but he wore it long and straggly and gave him a kind of see what the cat dragged in look. In the same way, the first step in your family makeover is to evaluate the strengths your family already has and the weaknesses you need to work on. You need to give some order to your discussion. So break your evaluation into 6 areas. You can talk about educational, financial, emotional, spiritual, physical, and social. So here's my suggestion. Let your children take the lead in this project. I know it might make you a little nervous because you're probably unsure what that project would look like and whether or not they would take it seriously. But after 30 years of working with children, I can tell you that they are not only insightful, but they will be enthusiastic and they'll get a chance to be in charge of something. It's also important to dwell on your family's strengths, not just weaknesses, because it gives family members a chance to see the things that they are already successfully achieving. You will probably be surprised to see that you are doing a lot of things right. I'm going to tell you about a family called the Johnson family. They did a family makeover and they learned that they were consistent at weekly family home events and daily family prayers, that they were generally good about having their homework turned in on time, but they needed to work on their children's daily personal prayers, their inappropriate teasing, and as one of their daughters put it, basically, they were all slobs. So evaluate your family's strengths and weaknesses, dwell on the strengths, not just the weaknesses. Now, once the beautician had evaluated this client, she then needed to decide which makeover style she was going to go for. Was she going to go for this dad to have a GQ and professional look, or an exotic and alluring look, or fresh and wholesome look. She chose GQ and professional. In the same way, a family needs to look at its strengths and weaknesses and decide what it wants the outcome of the makeover to be. You got to vote. So there needs to be a majority vote. And I'll tell you what this family did, that this Johnson family. They had earlier decided to work on being less messy. They wanted to be less messy. And I know that a lot of you can attest to that. So they spent several minutes discussing what the messy behaviors were that they wanted to change. They discussed how their living room had become the official after-school dumping ground for backpacks, coats, school papers. The strange after-dinner disappearing act that left mom stuck with a dirty kitchen to clean up, and the ever-popular trick of leaving small toys, pencils, cards, empty glasses in every conceivable nook and cranny in the house. Those were the things that they knew that they needed to clean up. Now, I don't know if that resonates with some of you, but after having two boys who are now grown men, when they were little, those things surely resonated with me. So you've got to make sure that you set a goal. Don't let the sharks eat you. You can do this. Now, once the goal was chosen for this person, the beautician then had to come up with a plan of action. A trim here, some highlights there. You see the beautiful highlights, enhance the eyes, cover up the double chin, that sort of thing. The family that I was telling you about, the Johnsons, they did the same thing. They brainstormed the best ways to meet their goals. Various options were discussed, including the idea of throwing out most of their personal belongings so there would be less left to pick up. Well, you can't do that. Then they finally settled on a plan. You've got to make a plan. It involved assignments to empty the dishwasher daily, the responsibility of washing off one's own dishes, putting them directly in the dishwasher, picking up after your own self. The real beauty of allowing the children to plan and organize was that it created a feeling of ownership. The reward for staying with the plan was completing the goals they had set for themselves. So naturally, the question arose, so what happens if we don't follow the plan? So normally, mom and dad usually decide what's going to happen, what's going to be the punishment. But when you're doing your family makeover, let the children decide what the consequences are. And in that way, the child will make sure that they've made the consequences and they're going to stick to them. And let them come up with their own penalties. And again, they're going to surprise you parents with what they can do. So make a plan, set consequences for what happens when someone does not follow the plan. Now, the next step is the hardest one. The woman in this picture, she gets home with this new hairdo. She got her eyes popped out. She got the double chin finally tucked under all those layers of makeup. But how can she maintain it? The same question will come up for family makeovers. Once the planning is done and the first few days of newness are gone, how can those new behaviors continue long enough to become family strengths? So now let me tell you what the Johnson family said. They suggested that if things were left out, they would be gathered up, put into a box, and thrown away. Well, their mom had to bring up the point that if someone left a winter coat out or a school book, you can't just throw those away. That's too severe. So they modified the plan to allow for repentance, which means a chore would be required to recoup the lost article. And another son brought up an interesting point. What if the object had no value to its owner and he didn't care if it got lost forever or not? Like, I don't like to cook, so I don't care if my pots and pans get lost forever. I literally don't care. But a third addendum was added. All things in the box had to be retrieved by a chore, regardless of whether it was wanted back or not. So if they left something out, they had to do a chore. So now, this mom watched her family over the next few weeks to see what was happening. And she realized that no one was perfect. And they did leave some things out. And they did complain when the consequences came, but they got it all together. And moms and dads, you have to make some changes as well, because there are going to be some times when you leave some things out and you need to start doing some chores and you need to admit what you're doing. So they even admitted that someone's mom the mom had left the purse out, left her shoes out, and she had to actually go in and do some things. So we've got to remember that you've got to follow through. This step, as I said, is the hardest. You've got to determine how you're going to maintain it. So once again, you got to decide, what are you going to do to maintain that good look, that beautiful look that you have? And so here you go. We're almost at the end of this. So once everything is going good, you can reassess. Your family can do a makeover at any time for anything. And so you've got to understand, parents, that while you're home for this Christmas holiday, especially with COVID, you're inside, you're in there together. Get together, put all of your little technical gadgets down and talk to each other. And remember what you want for your family. Whatever it is that is not going well for your family today, it can actually go better for your family in 2021. The beauty of a family makeover is that you can make over whatever is not working. You can make over really whatever you want. Remember that families are stronger when they work together. So when the new year rolls around, celebrate and then make a decision to move your family to the very next level. What is your family's New Year's resolution? So we'll stop our share and we'll just ask any of the parents, do you think that you might want to consider doing a New Year's resolution with your family? Any parent, you can unmute yourself and let us know. So nobody's going to try it, huh? Okay, well, it's out there for you if you need it. Mrs. Norman, back to you.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Bernie. I think that, oh yes, I think they're excited about trying it. They, like me, be thinking about what we're going to do because we need to do a makeover. I think we can all stand a makeover as we move forward into the new year. So thank you so much for that, because after all, the purpose of a family is to maintain the well-being of all of its members. And what better way than to have that family makeover? So thank you so much. And once again, we want to highlight our guests who are with us. We have several schools with us this evening, and we welcome all of our parents and friends from all over who are with us, but we're especially excited to welcome our guest school. You heard from Ms. McKinney from the Cedar Hills Elementary Schools, and thank you, Ms. McKinney, for being with us this evening. Our other guest schools include the Gregory Drive Elementary School, the Hyde Park Elementary School, Crystal Springs Elementary School, and at the very beginning, you heard from parents from our Sadie Tillis Elementary School. So yay, we just excited to have so many of you here with us this evening. So don't forget now to sign in our chat box so you can be eligible for that gift card drawing. And if you're on YouTube, you can go ahead and sign in the comment section. You want to get that prize. So at this time, parents, Ms. Bernie already gave you some great information that will help us as we begin again and have a better year in 2021. So, but parents, we're going to stop and pause and do something special for you. We want to get you in good shape. We want to give you a few tips that will help you help yourselves. I'm sure you've heard many times that the first person you need to help is to get yourselves in order. So at this time, it gives me great pleasure to present to you the young lady who is the STAR Mentoring Coordinator for all the elementary schools. She is the voice that you've heard and the person with whom you come in contact with all the time, Ms. Victoria Perry. So Ms. Perry, please come forward and help our parents. Thank you.
Good evening, parents. Thank you for joining. I'm so excited to see you all. And to our parents that are on YouTube, thank you so much for joining. So I'm just going to share a tip or two in regards to us dealing with stress and anxiety and also dealing with this pandemic. Again, my name is Miss Perry and I service your students, and I'm so thrilled to be a part of their academic journey. So a few tips that I have to share today with dealing with stress and anxiety is to always take a break, rest, and relax. So those are very simple but very important things that we need to do to ensure that we're properly resting and making sure we're able to function properly. Sometimes we operate off of 2 hours of sleep and we aren't as effective as we could be if we had 8 hours of sleep. So make sure we're resting and going to bed. One of my favorite things to do is to turn my phone off. When I get home, I turn my phone off for about an hour. I don't touch it. I don't reply back to any emails, text messages, or anything. That just allows me to detach from the world and to just focus on myself. Also, during this pandemic, I've learned to release the things that we cannot control. So we can't control the pandemic, we can't control what's happening, but we can control how we respond and how we act. So make sure we're wearing our masks, washing our hands, also even sending our children to school with hand sanitizer and things of that nature to make sure they're taking care of themselves, because you don't want them to bring those germs back to you. And then now you have to take off work and all these other things that we wouldn't want to happen. So just remember to take time for yourself, rest and relax, but definitely turn your phone off. I think that's probably one of the greatest things I've ever done, is to turn my phone off and to just detach. It helps you to process things better. It helps you to just de-stress and just be a better person all around, because looking at that phone, it messes with your brain, your eyes, and everything, and headaches and things of that sort. So definitely take a break, rest, and relax. So I hope those tips can help, and I'm looking forward to working with your students.
Okay, thank you, Miss Perry. I always learn. Gonna relax now. I sit back and relax. Okay, thank you so much, Miss Perry. Once again, she is the SAW mentoring coordinator for our elementary schools. And mentoring means to take time and give special attention to one child. And that is so special because at these schools, your children have been selected by the I'm a STAR Foundation to give special attention to. And so Ms. Perry provides mentoring to them. That is, she provides individual counseling and attention to them. And that is so special. That is so special. And we're so excited about that. And also, in addition to her, as Ms. Bernie mentioned at the very beginning, Ms. Sabrina Pinckney is our after-school team up coordinator. And I'm sure you hear her name as well as her voice all the time. So we are so excited to have her deal with them in the after-school program. So now we're going to move right on along and focus and present the focus of this evening's parent session. Parents, we want to present some tips for you. We know even though we're coming to the end of this 9 weeks, it is never too late to adapt these tips to your household, to your children and your household. So at this time, it gives me great pleasure to present to you our focus topic for this evening: survival. That's the key word these days. Survival, the beginner's guide to exploration. And this intriguing section will be presented to us by Ms. Manye Jones. And she is our STAR mentoring coordinator for our middle schools, but she also works with our elementary schools. She does the mentoring as well as she is our student success coordinator for our high school, along with several other hats. But we're very happy to have her with her because she has an elementary one in her house. So she speaks from facts as well as experience. So at this time, please help me welcome Ms. Manye Jones, who's going to talk with you about surviving successfully. Ms. Jones.
Thank you so much, Ms. Norman. I know it says Dawson on my screen. I'm still getting used to the new name. I
call her Dawson Jones.
But it is Jones now. So thank you so much, parents, for joining us tonight. I'm going to be presenting with you a parent survival guide this evening. I usually don't get to interact much with the elementary babies, because my work focuses mostly on middle and high school students, but I do love the parent nights because I get to interact with the elementary kids then. Like Ms. Norman mentioned, I do have, my daughter's in elementary school, so all of these tips are proven to work. They're going to help you to make things a little bit easier throughout the rest of this year, especially with COVID. Things are a lot different than what they normally are, but these tips can be applied to any school year. Once we're out of the woods with COVID, you can still use these tips to help your child be successful and to help us as parents be more organized. So Ms. Bernie mentioned having a family New Year's resolution. I never make New Year's resolutions because I never keep them. I never do what I say I'm going to do. But I think making a family one is extremely interesting. I'm going to do that definitely this year. So if you need different examples of what you can do, being organized a little bit better is one that you can throw on your list of things to do as a family. So once I go through, I'm going to share my screen and we're going to go through this survival kit together. And in addition to the things that I'll present tonight, your student will actually get a number of these items on tomorrow, between tomorrow and the end of this week. Miss Victoria Perry will be giving the survival kit bags. These nice camouflage bags will have some goodies in them. So make sure once your child gets home with those bags that you go through the items together so you can map out, get a head start on your family New Year's resolution. So I am going to start the PowerPoint slide. There we go. So one thing about 2020 is that it is very different from years we've encountered in the past. Can everyone see the presentation? Okay. It's very different. So when you come into contact with something that's different, whether it's a person on the Discovery Channel, exploring the Sahara or the Arctic, they always have to have a roadmap. Whenever you're exploring something new, you have to come prepared. Okay. So the one thing that you have to do is have your roadmap. I was born and raised in Jacksonville, but if I don't have my GPS, I can't tell you where anything is, unless you say it's on the corner of that Chick-fil-A and another restaurant. I'm not going to have any clue of how to tell you how to get to places. So with a roadmap, when it comes to your child and their education, your roadmap is your school information. All right, we have to make sure as parents we keep our information updated. One of the things that we encounter working with different parents, working with different schools, is that sometimes our numbers aren't always correct, right? Or our numbers aren't always active. In the age of COVID, schools are less likely to send home flyers and paperwork due to, the spread of the germs. So they're sending things by email now. So all it takes is a quick second to call your child's school, speak with the person at the front office and say, hey, I want to make sure my contact information is up to date. So make sure you give them your correct phone number, your correct address, and especially your correct email address. Always give them a backup phone number or a backup email if you have it. That way you're not going to miss out on any information that the school sends out. Another thing for our roadmaps, one thing that'll be in the handy dandy survival bag that your child will be getting soon is a memo pad. Now their memo pads are going to look a lot more fancy than mine, but a memo pad is just a simple pad that you can keep on you at all times. And what happens is we can use this both as parents and for our students because we can list different things. We can write down our schedules. We can write down the things that we have to accomplish by the end of the week. Because my memo pad isn't that big, that means it has to be a short and sweet list, right? You can have your child start writing down their wish lists for Christmas, a grocery list, a snack list, because what this is going to do is a teachable moment. It promotes good penmanship. Because if you write down a wish list for Christmas and I can't read it, you're not going to get anything, or either you're going to get what I want you to have, all right, instead of what you want. So it promotes a good handwriting and it promotes them with good spelling techniques as well. And that's very crucial in elementary school. when it comes to different things, it's not tricking them into doing work, but when it's time to get those sales papers in the mail, especially Walmart, the grocery stores, if they want to write down all their favorite toys or what's on sale this week, have them make a list, write it down. Not only will you write it down, put how much it costs. All right, put down how much the Doritos and the Hawaiian Punches and Kool-Aid Jammers cost, or the Cheez-Its and the Goldfish. And then at the end of your list, draw yourself a line and put some math to work. All right, that way they can tell you, oh, well, my grocery list costs $25.79. And then you can even give them a life lesson and say, hey, you have to add some tax onto that too. So if you don't have all that money, you're gonna have to take those goldfish off your list. So it's teachable moments in just simple everyday things that we can use to interact with our children. Setting a schedule. Another thing that we can do, when you have your memo pad, take the page off, put it on the refrigerator, or even make a big poster out of it. One thing that the I'm a Star Foundation loves to do is put the children in charge. Put them in charge of their schedule. Have them write it down, decorate it, post it somewhere in the house where everybody can see it. Nobody's perfect, so we might not follow our schedule, but if we try to at least adhere to most of it, you can start getting into a routine that your child's familiar with. My daughter, as soon as she steps foot in the house, it's go take a shower, get those clothes off, get those germs off you. All right. After a shower, and this is what I tell my, not elementary school kids, my middle school level kids, they don't like this advice, but after the shower, my daughter has to immediately do homework. It's not stop and take a breather, stop and take a break, watch some TV, get on the computer or the tablet or the video game. Do homework first. Here's 2 reasons why. Number 1, if school gets out at 3:30, we get home 3:45, 4 o'clock. Your teacher has taught whatever lesson not even an hour ago. So that means that information that their child needs for their homework is still fresh on their brains. So that way, you're going to get your homework done faster. That's the second reason. And it's going to be more accurate, because if you come home, watch TV for an hour, play Fortnite for an hour, that information is already out your head. It's already dumped out. So now you have to flip through the books to find the answer. Now you have to go back and research on the computer to find the answer, versus memory, because you just got out of school not even an hour ago. So make sure on that schedule you set aside time for homework and family time. Family time is important. Like Ms. Perry said, we have to unplug. Kids are getting what's called myopia now, where if you took your child to the eye doctor 6 months ago, their prescription, if they wear glasses, has drastically changed. It's because we're in front of screens more often now. Because of virtual learning and all that, it's affecting our children in more ways than one. It's affecting their health, their eyesight. So you have to unplug. You have to get away from the screen at least a little bit. Family time also promotes mental health breaks, because we have to check up on our kids. We have to say, well, hey, how do you feel about this? Or how do you feel about that? Because they feed off of us and they take cues from us. So if we're in front of the TV stressing out because the news is on constantly, or stressing out because of the news on whatever timeline we're looking at on our feed on Twitter, when they see us starting to stress, whether we realize it or not, they get stressed out too. So you have to have family time and relax. The next thing, your compass. Not only do you need a roadmap, if you don't know up from down, south from north, west from east, your roadmap isn't going to do you any good, right? So your compass is your focus account. All right. So in addition to keeping your phone numbers and email addresses updated, you have to log in to Focus often. Your child has a Focus account, and I guarantee your child knows exactly how to log into it. Your child knows what grades they have, what teachers that can be contacted, what their schedule is. Everything is on that Focus account. Parents, if you go to duvalschools.org, you can create a parent Focus account. But if you say, well, I'm not technologically savvy, I don't know how to do all that. Cool. Your child does. They can teach you step by step how to do it. And if they say, oh, I don't know how to do that, yes, they do, because they log into that Focus account all the time. Focus accounts are supposed to be updated weekly. So that means you can check your child's grades weekly. So you don't have to wait on progress reports or report cards to know how your child is doing in class. You can check on it. If those grades don't look right, what you do is tap on that teacher's name and it gives you a link directly to their email. So you can contact that teacher as well if you need to. A planner. I am not 100% sure if our survival bags will have the pocket planners in them, but if it does not have a pocket planner, we all have one of these. Even though we just said turn off the screens every once in a while, these are still a good tool. All right. And if you don't have a smartphone, or if your child isn't old enough to have a phone, you don't have a phone for them yet, I'm pretty sure they have one of these, a tablet or a laptop or some other type of electronic device. All of them, I have never seen a phone or a smart anything that does not have a calendar on it. These calendars can set alarms for 2 minutes before, an hour before, a week before, a year in advance, all of that. So nothing should ever catch you off guard. I like to have a written planner because I'm a visual learner, so I love to have everything written down. So this is what my planner looks like. I color coordinate everything. I put sticky notes all over the place, highlighters. I have work stuff in black, appointments in red, birthdays in pink, whatever my favorite colors are. So if you want to help your child be more organized, and if it's your family goal to get more organized, have a big giant family planner. All right. Have your child put their things in their favorite color. You put your things on the planner in your favorite color, and so far and so forth. You keep it going that way. And every week, review your planner. I review mine every morning, and usually I have it open all day, so nothing is going to catch me off guard. One thing that we normally get, especially at different appointments, are these appointment cards. I hate these because as soon as I get one, I toss it in my purse and my purse eats it. But if I have my planner, guess what I can do? I keep paper clips in my planner. That way I can put my card in here, and then once I get home, I can write down what I need to in my planner. But if you're not a visual learner and your child likes technology, put it in your phone. One of my friends from college, and I graduated many, many years ago, she put her birthday in my phone one year. I don't remember which year she did it, but she put her birthday in there and she put an alarm on it. And now every day on her birthday, I get an alarm at 6 a.m. I have not figured out how to turn it off yet, but that goes to show technology. And no matter what phone I have gotten over the years, it's saved to my account some kind of way. And I remember Denisia's birthday in every March. So if that can happen, you know your child can put down their tests that are coming up, birthdays that are coming up, and everything else in between. So make sure you have your compass. One thing that's added to this presentation that probably, hopefully, gets removed in the next couple of years coming up is protective gear. Ms. Carey mentioned putting hand sanitizer in your child's book bags. They're tiny. You can even get the cases that they come in, so you can strap them to either their pocket, their belt loops, or put it on their book bags. Hand sanitizer, masks. Make sure that your child has a fresh mask if you're going to use these, the little paper ones. These are disposable. They should not be used more than once. All right, so it's when they walk out the door, okay, throw on your mask. When they come home, take it off, throw it in the trash, unless you have the ones made out of cloth. And then with those, you have to make sure you wash them often. I usually wash mine in the kitchen sink. I get some washing powder, detergent, and scrub them on my hands, hang them up to dry. They're good to go. All right. If you are having a hard time making your child keep the mask on, find something that they like. These masks, the disposable ones, come in all different colors. I've seen pink, black, blue, yellow. I saw an orange one, a green one, and I'm pretty sure they come in all the colors of the rainbow. You can even get the kind that has Disney characters or Marvel characters, whatever they like. You can find those for them. Make sure you go when it's family time. Explain to them how to wash their hands for 20 seconds. They can sing the birthday song or whatever the chorus of their favorite song is. So make everything customizable. When you customize it to your child, it's more likely that it's going to stick. First aid kit. Whenever you're exploring anything new, you might fall, skin your knee, cut your finger. But as far as this parent presentation goes, first aid kits aren't for cuts and scratches. This first aid kit is for motivation. So things are going to happen. Your child might not bring home the grade that you wanted them to bring home. They may have gotten in trouble at school. Things happen. But what we can't do is dwell on negativity. Okay, we have to make sure we're rewarding them for positive things so they keep doing positive things. But if they do slip up, we can't nag, and tear down. We have to build them up. So one thing that's going to be in your survival kit might be a couple of pieces of candy. Now, rewards don't always have to be candy or food, even though I personally reward myself with food every chance I get. It can be things like using your memo pad to write down different crafts or something cool they saw on YouTube that they might want to try out. You can give them extra 30 minutes of TV time at the end of the night, extra 30 minutes on a video game. Whatever you want their motivational factors to be, you can team up with them and let them decide it along with you. If they say, oh, I want $100 every time I make an A on a test, well, calm down. We can have a happy medium. We can meet you somewhere in between. My aunt started a thing with my daughter. For every A she brought home, they give her $5 per A. Every time my daughter brings her report card home, my aunt is less and less enthusiastic because she goes broke every time a report card comes home. So that's one thing that we can do is motivate our children. And your adventurer's backpack. That is this. And all the things that we talked about will be found in here. In addition to having your child with their own adventurer's backpack. That's their book bag for school. You have to make sure your child comes to school prepared. That means they have their paper, their pencil, their book, their books for school, and their homework. Always check your child's backpack to make sure they put their homework in it. The most heartbreaking thing that's ever happened to my daughter is that she spent more than an hour on homework, get to school, realizes that it's still sitting on the kitchen counter. Now that teacher may or may not take late work. They may get half credit, but nobody wants half credit for something that they actually did on time. So please make sure, parents, that we check the backpacks, make sure we have a set of supplies at school and a set of supplies at home. Because when we send everything with them to school, oh, I got a ton of paper in here. You need some paper? You need some paper? Oh, I'm sure everybody needs paper. So if you have a giving child like I do, paper and pencils don't come home. So you have to make sure that you have a set of supplies for school and home. And the last thing that is in our traveler's pack is specifically for parents. I've never seen an explorer go on an expedition and not write about it. All right, not keep the receipts of what happened, not take pictures or draw pictures of the creatures they discovered. You have to have your parent notebook. That is your travel diary. And just as I mentioned, your parent folder has all types of educational documents in it. If your child has an IEP or a 504 plan, put it in your parent folder. Copies of your driver's license, their shot records, their physicals, especially when it's time to register for either a new school. If your baby's in 5th grade, it's time for them to start shopping around in middle schools. So you have to keep everything in your parent folder. You don't want to scramble to look for anything. When I mentioned the parent focus account, how you can tap on the teacher's name and it takes you directly to their email, whatever email you send to that school, print it off and put it in your parent folder. That way, when it's time for a parent-teacher conference, you have all your receipts. You have every time you've contacted the teacher, you've had every time when they respond to you, or if they don't respond. That's something that you want to make a note of too. If you don't have the ability to print things, get you some regular old notebook paper, because again, we keep supplies at home and at school. So grab some of that notebook paper. Write down when you call the school, write down who you spoke with, because you don't want to call the school and say, well, that lady in the front office told me this. Well, who was the lady in the front office? We have a mail secretary. I don't know who you spoke to. So make sure you get the person's name. Write down the date and time that you called the school and write something brief about what you talked about. Because one thing you don't want to do is show up to the conference and say, well, I called the school on the 28th. Well, what was it in reference to? You don't want to do that either, okay? So make sure you keep all your receipts. If you have more than one child, get a 3-ring binder. I know this is a folder that I'm holding up right now, but a 3-ring binder is preferred. Get you some dividers. That way you can separate each section by the child, especially if you have more than one kid in different grade levels. You can also put dividers in it that way. So make sure we stay organized. When it's time for the school to need different documents, if they're in an after school program, you have everything that you need right here. You can go right to it, as long as you don't lose the folder, but everything should be in there for you. So I hope these tips will work for us. I hope one of our resolutions can be to be more organized, because your child learns their organizational skills from you. They watch everything you do. So my daughter's like, hey, can I get a planner with unicorns on it? And I'm like, oh, absolutely, because I love a planner. So make sure that you're doing everything you can to keep your child organized and to keep yourself organized, because it makes it for a less stressed parent. Because when you're organized, nothing can catch you off guard. So again, thank you for joining us tonight. And if you have any questions, I'm going to drop my email in the chat. For those of you who are on YouTube, my email is mdawson@imastarfoundation.org.
Hey, thank you so much, Ms. Dawson Jones. And certainly I learned something each time we do this, each time you do this presentation, along with what Ms. Bernie presented tonight about family makeover. So important. It's a good time. I just want to remind you about an important date. This quarter ends Friday. This quarter ends Friday. And I'm so glad that you're on tonight, because that gives you a couple of days, if you like I was. I remember the school days, my daughter, a good time to be sure and check that focus and be sure that all of the work has been turned in. You have until Friday. I know the principal's still listening and say, now they should have had it done by now. But see, I'm telling you, parents, hurry. And look and see if they're missing any schoolwork. Friday is the last day, the quarter end. And also following the advice that Ms. Bernie gave tonight about the family makeover. I have about 6 or 7 little nieces and nephews in elementary school. So of course, now I'm gonna suggest to them that when they do their little family makeover, that they have a little family night Sunday night, and everybody look at the focus at the same time. So this will be a part of their family makeover. So I'm taking these notes, and that would eliminate some of my stress. So thank you so much. And don't forget that this quarter ends on Friday. Now, parents, hopefully you all signed in, because we're going to get ready for our drawings. We're going to get ready for our prize drawing. Once again, we want to thank all of our schools, Cedar Hills, Ms. McKinney, who's with us tonight, and also Ms. Cox from Cedar Hills, Gregory Drive, Ms. Sapp, Principal, Hyde Park, Ms. Winfred, Principal, and Crystal Springs, Mr. Simpson, Todd Simpson, and finally Sadie Tillis, Ms. Dunbar. So once again, thank you so much, and thank you so much, parents, for being here. And now we're going to get ready for our drawing as Ms. Bernie prepares for that. Hopefully so many of you until she has to set it up for you.
There are some parents that I need to actually get their names. Yes, in order for me to put it on there. I see Kevin. That's Kevin Perez. Okay, I do have Kevin Perez. But Pitts, P-I-T-T-S, can you give us your name, parent, and the child's name? If you could just take yourself off mute.
Angel Pitts, Asia Peterson's mom, Sadie Tillis.
Sadie Tillis, okay. I'm sorry, your daughter's first name is?
Asia Peterson.
Asia. Gotcha. Okay, thank you. And then I see iPhone 3715458-649. If you could tell us your name. If you could take yourself off mute and tell us your name, because we want to make sure that we are able to give you that gift card. We also have some parents on YouTube, and I will also include those names. And give me 1 second once I add Ms. Pitts in. We also had a parent, Mary Paul, but I think she may have gotten off. Okay, so we're going to get ready to do our big wheel so that we can see who will win the gift card.
Okay.
The winner is Mary Paul, but she got off, so we'll go to the next. We'll do another spin. We'll do another spin. Okay, so that winner, this is one of the YouTube parents, and it's Kayla Buchanan. And we'll see which school, because they didn't put the school name in the chat on YouTube. All right, I'll turn it back over to you, Mrs. Norman. Let me stop the share.
Okay. So once again, you saw the winner, and Ms. Perry will see to it that you get your gift card. And we thank each of you for being with us tonight, and especially Ms. Bernie. Did any of our guests want to make any additional remarks?
Ms. McKinney, if you'd like to make some additional remarks, or Ms. Cox.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Bernie, and I would like to thank everyone on this call tonight. This was amazing. I can't wait to start my family makeover. I'm about to go in here and tell them, hey, let's get this thing together. I can't wait. That's going to be fun. And I like it outside of the doing it the individual resolution, because okay, forget it. I don't stick to it either.
Yes.
So maybe as a family we can encourage one another. So I'm looking forward to it. And all of the tools that were talked about with being organized. I noticed my parent that got off, Mary Paul, that I'm so sorry she wasn't on. Maybe she had to leave, but hopefully we can spread this wealth at Cedar Hills, all of these wonderful things we learned this evening. So once again, I can't wait until we do this again. And I know Ms. Cox, you might want to say something. I think I've said enough, but I thank you all for having me this evening, and we look forward to the next time.
Hello, everyone. I just wanted to say thank you so much. I am learning, and I am so willing to share everything that I have learned. I can't wait to go and buy me another journal. I love planners, and I'm gonna make sure that we come together as a family as well. Will the YouTube links stay up? That way we can share it with our family members and friends. That would be awesome. So for anyone that didn't get an opportunity to jump on tonight, maybe they can look at it, the YouTube link over the break, and they can get prepared to go into 2021 with the new family resolution. So I'm really excited about this. And ladies, you did an awesome job.
Yes,
thank you so much, Ms. Bernie and Ms. Norman, for your foundation and everything that you bring and you shared with our communities. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And our next parent meeting for Gregory Drive and for Cedar Hills is Transforming Disengaged Students into Leaders. That's January 5th. We'll be able to go back, Ms. Cox, to the first Tuesday in every month. But we have parents on, and we want to hear from you. Parents, would you like to share anything that you've learned from tonight before we end our session? Please feel free to come off mute and share anything that you'd like that you gained, or just any comments or questions that you might have. Okay, I see we have a new parent that joined, Brittany Thomas. Miss Thomas, can you just share which school and what's your child's name so that we can make sure that we have everyone?
Yes, I was on here. I actually had to change the name. It was up under a number. I don't know how that happened, but I'm Shaka Brandonsburg mom.
Okay.
From Sadie Till.
Okay, Brandonsburg. Okay. All
It's
right.
it's Brandenburg.
Brandenburg. Okay. And okay, I think that we have everyone. I think we have everyone who is on the Zoom. We also have Mr. Hank Rogers, who's our Chief Operations Officer for the Amistar Foundation. And I would simply like to thank Mrs. Norman for all that she does to make sure that everything is done correctly. And she does such a wonderful job being our host. For Ms. Manye Dawson, who gives an incredible presentation with regards to that survival kit. And Ms. Victoria Perry, who does a great job with the young people in the mentoring program. So we want to make sure that we always respect your time. It is now 8:03 and we are going to end our Zoom for tonight. But I'm sorry, before that, Ms. Sabrina Pinckney, do you have anything that you would like to share? Do you see any of your parents on tonight?
My parent actually logged off, Miss Bernie, but as always, the presentation was great. There's always an amazing takeaway. It's always something that we as parents and educators and students can take away. So again, great presentation. I know I'm a star. See the Hero Team Up. We engage in so many of these different things and promote engagement. So yeah, I'm looking forward to doing my makeover too with Mr. Pinckney. So thank you, Ms. Jones. Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So thank you.
All right. Well, thank you so much, everyone. If there are no other comments, have a wonderful evening, but more than anything else, enjoy your holiday and get ready for the new year. Make yourself and your family over and do the survival that Ms. Jones taught you. Thank you all. Have a wonderful evening.
Okay. Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Thank you.